Yeah.
Do my little introduction. All right. Good morning, Latitude Nation. We are live again aboard Profligate for the 30th annual Baja Ha Cruisers Rally from San Diego to Cabo. I have Chuck Skewes from Ullman Sales today. We are going to meet the entire crew. This morning, the crew left Bahia Santa Maria bright and early, and they're on the final leg to Cabo. So this has been super fun to kind of tag along and see what it's like, thanks to Starlink. And I'm going to hand it over to Chuck.
All right, here we are on Profligate, and today we're going to introduce the crew. And so in about 5 seconds, you'll get them, and they'll introduce, and they'll give a little bit of bio on themselves.
Fantastic.
Hi, my name is Dana. I live in San Francisco, and this is my fifth Ha-Ha.
Awesome. Hi, Dana.
Mitch Perkins from Sausalito Boat Show on my third Ha-Ha.
Hi, my name's Jeanette Drake. I'm now from Gig Harbor, originally from San Francisco, and I think it's my fourth Ha-Ha.
Hi, I'm Jim Drake from Gig Harbor, Washington. And, this is my fourth Ha-Ha. Did the first. Hopefully this won't be the last. Goodbye. Hello, I'm Dino. This is my 18th Ha-Ha, and it's the most amazing crew this year.
That's awesome.
Hi, I'm Chris. I've been on this one or two times, and look forward to more.
1 or 2 times 12.
Hey, I'm Donna De Mallorca, head of security and the Poopah's girl.
Been on every Ha-Ha.
I'm the Poopah. This is my 30th Ha-Ha, and I pay the bills.
I love it.
So we have a couple shy ones that didn't want to come out, I guess. Oh, they're asleep, actually.
Oh, we've got
So
sleepers.
Steve and Kristen with a K.
Okay.
Kristen helps us with the roll call every day, does all the data input. And yeah, we had quite the adventure yesterday. And so she helped quite a bit with that.
Yeah. Are you talking about the immigration adventure?
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'd love for you to share a bit about that if you're comfortable.
Absolutely.
To let our audience know, last year they checked in immigration on aboard Profligate, and it went very smooth. And there's been a couple of snafus. So tell us exactly what happened.
So we'd had arrangements with the people that the agents work directly with the immigrations and kind of streamline things, because you have your boat import, and you have your visas for each individual crew, and then you have agricultural. And so the agent generally puts all those together. And when you go into Cabo, you hire the agent, and you give them your passport, and then they give it to you the next day or a day and a half later, and you pay them for that service. Well, a couple of years ago, the port captain in San Carlos, which is the closest town to Bahia Santa Maria, decided that they wanted us to do the immigration there. And that actually is a little bit more the way the regulations truly are. It's just we don't go to San Carlos, so we've just bypassed that and did it in Cabo. So he last year they came over to the boat and did it all on the boat. Why we called by division. People would bring their passports in. He'd go through them, stamp them, and go back. And it was about a 3.5 hour thing. And we were planning to do the same thing this year. The agent said that's what we're going to do. About an hour before they're supposed to arrive, he says, "Oh, the machine's broken that we do for portable documents, and so now we need to grab everybody's passports and take them to San Carlos, and then we'll return them." Well, it's 400 passports. And so we had this kind of emergency situation where we didn't have a whole lot of faith in the system. So we called everybody, and it's really specific. Put your passports in a Ziploc bag, write your division and your boat name and the number of passports in that bag. And we took that. It felt like we were packing up drugs. I've never seen so many passports in one place. So then we packed up all these passports that were in bags by division into dry bags, and we sent Danya and Jim from the boat to San Carlos, and they were joined by Annie Gardner, and they went by Ponga to this remote beach in Bahia Santa Maria, which is like the bay is like 5 miles wide. They walked over the sandbar down this kind of road, and then had to wade out to another Ponga that took them over to San Carlos, and then they walked to the immigration office. And then it took about 4 hours for them to get all that done. And then they had to do the reverse trip all the way back, and they got back to the boat at 7 p.m. last night.
Wow.
So then we had to call each boat. We had to call each division, have the boats come over. We had to identify who was picking up the passports for who and make sure it all did. And it all worked. It's it's amazing. It worked. There was nobody stuck with somebody else's passport, and nobody lost any passports. The fleet was really cooperative. It was quite an effort, but it made it, actually it made it easy. Everyone got to go to the party and have a good time. The beach party was last night with the rock and roll band, and if you go on the Facebook page, you'll see some video and how amazing the band actually is, and how surreal. I mean, that's the only word people can use to explain the party in Bahia Santa Maria is surreal. It's a once in a lifetime. Well, not for us, but but it's kind of a once in a lifetime thing that we get to live every year.
That's really cool. It looked like a lot of fun. I saw some video and some photos this morning, and also congratulations on getting through an immigration snafu. I was thinking about this last night. I talked to Mitch briefly, and he shared, how disconcerting it is to kind of give away your passport
Yeah.
in that situation.
Well, and then to have the responsibility of all these passports, we were thinking, well, we could sell these things, disconnect AIS, and sail around the world for the rest of our lives. And what we could sell these passports.
Oh man. Well, and then I was reminded of what Richard said yesterday, just about, that's what an adventure is about.
Exactly.
Unexpected things happen, and you roll with it, and you come up with solutions, and sometimes it makes the adventure what it is. So
sometimes those unplanned adventures, and in my life I've had dozens of them, and those are the most memorable and sometimes the best adventures, when it wasn't planned and you get to go explore new areas and new things. And I think we're obviously going to plan next year that if somehow to do some sort of system where we plan on getting the passports to San Carlos, probably that way there can't be a snafu, or as much as is preventable in Mexico, and then and go forward from there.
Interesting. And did you guys used to check in Cabo? Is that
yeah and in theory, that it was a gray area, because we were in two places that didn't have port of entries, and in theory you're not supposed to go to land and stuff, so we used to check in Cabo. In the old days, it was really easy. I mean, checking in was one of the easiest things you could do. Then regulations got a little harder and understandably so. And now it's that's the first port of entry. And if we can do that maybe a little smoother next year, you like how I'm saying next year, like it's a guarantee. It's not a guarantee yet, but
we're hoping.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys departed Bahia Santa Maria this morning quite early. I'm wondering if there's any news from the fleet or any issues that popped up on roll call this morning.
No, one boat stayed behind to do something minor. They actually called about an hour ago that they were underway. There wasn't much wind. There's a few boats were sailing, but it was kind of patchy. And the fog rolled in right as we left. Like, it was clear this morning in the bay, and we could see fog kind of inland of the bay. And by the time we got out to the starting area, fog had rolled in. And then, 45 minutes later, the fog had lifted, and we went by what we call the entrada, which is the entrance to Mag Bay. And we had some pressure, so people started sailing. And then once you get past that died out, and we're just starting to get into the building sea breeze, like it's building from the correct direction. And so I imagine in less than an hour, we'll have a spinnaker up and, cooking along towards Cabo.
Fun. And how long once you're sailing, what's your estimation on how much time it'll
we'll
take?
we'll get to Cabo. We'll get to Cabo tomorrow morning. Probably 8 or 10, which is kind of perfect. But is what's typical with you have to stay fluid is we have always in the past asked people if they want to slip if available at roll call when we leave Bahia Santa Maria, and we did that this morning. Probably 30 boats said, "Well, I want to slip if available," and Profligate usually gets a slip because we bring all these boats in, and we just got notification that I don't even think we have a slip. So Cabo is a very full marina, and during COVID it got more full, and the Bisbee fishing tournament brings lots of really big money boats in, and those boats haven't all left, so it doesn't look like there's much in Cabo. So hopefully we're still hoping to get a slip, but right now there's nothing available.
Wow, that's what I was going to ask, because I know the anchorage is quite busy in Cabo as well, and of course slips are hard to come by. So
Yeah,
I'm curious.
and so it's not the end of the world. When the Ha-Ha first started, the marina didn't exist, so everybody anchored, and it's a pretty solid anchorage. We have to haul a bunch of stuff in for the awards, so we're probably going to drop it off at the fuel dock, haul it up to the Baja Cantina, and then take off out to the anchorage. Is what my guess is if something doesn't change by tomorrow morning.
And after Cabo, what percentage of the boats would you say go up to La Paz? I know there's also a big beach party in La Paz.
Yes, and
Following
then
Sunday.
Yeah, so I would say close to 50% of the boats go to La Paz. This is a long way to go to just turn around and beat back.
Yeah.
And so we only see maybe less than 10% of the boats turn around and go back. It might be like somebody just did it for just the adventure of the Ha-Ha. At least half the boats stay down for a year plus, and then about 20% or so, 25% go on and go indefinitely. And so a lot of them go to La Paz, and a small number go over to Mazatlan and Puerto Vallarta, or just start their cruising to the Sea of Cortez. And then we see these people clear at the end of the season, and a lot of people change their minds. They like the Sea of Cortez, so they start flying home and keep their boat down when they were planning to come back at the end of the season, even so.
That's great. I love that it's the start of a great adventure for so many. I love seeing how many kids and families are kicking off a season or more of adventure. I was curious if you have any knowledge on how many, with Starlink, how many of the kids are actually schooling during the Ha-Ha?
I think it was 100% were schooling, except for the ones that were under school age. We talked with a couple that I know. It's original Bay Area family, the Clausens, and now her last name is Levy. And they have 2 daughters, and the daughters are in the single digit age. And last night they said that they're planning to cruise until the kids are in high school. And so the kids were on Zoom classes and homeschooling, and they're just not planning on returning until the kids are in that 15, 16-year-old range. So
what an incredible adventure.
I
To
know.
do it at such a formative age.
Yeah, I don't know if they know. I think they know how lucky they are, but I don't think they truly know how lucky they are. I think they miss friends, but they already made friends on this trip, and they like the warmer weather already, and so it was nice.
What is the age range of kids that you have? Do you know?
We had one little boy that was at the Olympics, the jumping off the back of Profligate, that had to have been about 3.5. And then the oldest was a boy that was probably 12 to 13.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's 12 boats that have kids on this rally.
That's incredible. I said this on another video, but I have met a lot of Ha-Ha kids this year at our crew party in Sausalito. There was a lot of families there, which was really great at the kickoff. And then at the Sausalito Boat Show, there was quite a few Ha-Ha boats that came to the show and were walking around before they headed south. And it's just, I always thought it would be just a really cool thing to do with kids. So I think it's awesome to see more and more people doing it.
it's a cool thing to do with a bunch of adults.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
actually
Right?
just a really good thing.
Well, I think there's always that. We always talk about that at Latitude, it's like, how do you bring sailing to a younger audience? And I think obviously one of the easiest ways is to raise people in it. But those stories are really cool. And
Yeah. And I, for parents that get their kids into racing, a lot of what we find is a lot of kids get into racing and then they kind of burn out, and so past high school they don't really stay in it. Like the junior programs are strong, but the people that are racing later on, but bringing them into cruising so that they kind of see the whole thing of living in an aquatic life, I think is really important.
yeah, and just I think in an age where I didn't have screens growing up in the same way that kids do now, and we had television, but it's great to see kids really having that interactive relationship with the natural world. And you really do get
Absolutely.
that when you're living on a boat and you're so connected to the water. Also, I think just a sense of community is really strong, and that's really important.
Oh yeah, and the culture, you get to see other cultures while you're. I mean, that's the biggest thing. These kids are going to be seeing cultures all over the world, and just what they see in just this west coast of the Baja Peninsula, from Turtle Bay and Bahia Santa Maria with the fishermen, and then what they're going to see in Cabo, they're radically different cultures.
Yeah, it's really awesome. It's great. Well, hopefully the Ha-Ha is going to produce some good humans.
Yeah, let's hope
Maybe
so.
make some humans better
Yeah,
humans.
well, so the mother of those two daughters I was talking about, uh, or no, it wasn't her. It was, we were talking. Oh, we talked to somebody else. There's a gal, and I think Richard wrote about it on his Facebook page, that she came on the Ha-Ha like 20 years ago or 18 years ago, and now she's 26 years old and she's a helicopter pilot for the Coast Guard, and so she was just an amazing lady that we met. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I met her at the kickoff party.
oh cool.
Yeah. And it was pretty cool to look at the pictures of the past Ha-Has and stuff, and like how that started her on a career in maritime. And
Absolutely.
yeah, it's very cool. Well, I would love it if you could walk us around. I know there's no wind and we're not really sailing right now, but I'd love to show our audience what you're seeing out there, because it looks just to be a perfect, beautiful day.
Oh, it's an amazing day. So this is the outside of Mag Bay. These mountains are actually islands in a series, kind of a series of islands with narrow entrances into Mag Bay. Mag Bay is Bahia Magdalena, so everyone refers to it as Mag Bay. And then if you could see 100 miles that way, you would see Cabo Falso, which is what first thing we see as we go into Cabo San Lucas. And then right back there, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's one little last mountain. That is the island that kind of makes Bahia Santa Maria. We are anchored up in behind there. And the rest of this is just wide open ocean with a few Ha-Ha boats around. If I was better at knowing
Beautiful.
which ones are around us. Yeah, so you can see everybody's motor sailing, but it's pretty nice here. It's probably 78 degrees and crystal clear, and we have 6 knots of wind right now, and it's going to build to 12 this afternoon, and we'll be sailing.
Beautiful. It's pretty chilly in Northern California, so I'm envious of your sunshine.
Yeah.
78.
We have one person on the boat, Dino, who lives in Colorado, and then Chris and Steve, who didn't come up through the door. They live in Truckee, and they're all showing photos from back home of snow on the roads.
Yeah.
And it takes, when you're in this climate down here and you've been a weekend, you're like, where in the world would snow be this time of year? And then you realize it is mid-November, and here we are in shorts and t-shirts, showering outside and enjoying life.
Yeah.
Oh, and here, look at, so here you go. As we're on deck, nobody knows that we're dragging 2 fish right now.
You're dragging 2
we
fish?
have 2 fish on, right?
That's a new strategy for us. We're trying to drown them.
We are the only boat in the Ha-Ha not to catch an eatable fish, and these both look like skipjacks as well. So, but we have, there you go, live fishing.
Live fishing.
You're not going to starve to death. We keep looking for the good fish, but if you needed to, you could eat a skipjack. Several people in the fleet do, and some of them have enjoyed it. It's just if you do enough of these, you get a little spoiled, and you really look for the yellowfin and the dorado and the wahoo, Sierra mackerels. So
Well, I hope you guys
got a lot of
catch
blood in them.
a good fish on this last.
Yep,
And
definitely.
so, when give us a timeline on when the Ha-Ha officially ends.
So everybody in theory gets to Cabo tonight. I mean tomorrow, and then tomorrow night we have the thank God we cheated death again party at Squid Row, and that's at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And almost everybody in the fleet will be there at that time.
Okay.
And then the day after that, we have a party at the Mango Deck down on the beachfront in Cabo San Lucas, and it's just a luncheon. We kind of all just tell stories. Everybody kind of gets together one final time for just a social hour, and we have the Here to Eternity beach competition where couples go out in the surf and reenact the Here to Eternity kissing scene in the surf. And we usually get about 15 to 20 couples that go do that.
It's funny.
And then in the 7 o'clock that same night, we have our awards banquet right there at the IGY Marina.
And then
that is the official
that's
end.
That's the official end.
The official end. Everybody gets their awards, and we have awards for people that talk on the radio the most spectacular spinnaker explosion, best fish, biggest fish, most fish, then places in each division. And then we oldest and youngest crew members, all those type of things. And then everybody takes off, but it's funny. It's everybody kind of ends up hanging together. So many people go to La Paz, and they have that beach party in La Paz at that little Mexican restaurant, and a huge amount of people come there, and some people even travel there if their boat isn't there to go to it. And then a month from now, they have one in Puerto Vallarta, and so you see maybe 30 or 40 boats from the Ha-Ha showing up in Puerto Vallarta for another party.
That's fun. And then you hopefully have some lifelong friends and many more memories to create.
Oh, absolutely. It's really fun. I have a couple of friends from the Northwest. This is their first Ha-Ha, and they're like, this is unbelievable. They could not get over the party last night. They're just like, this is unbelievable. And then I have customers and friends that this is their first Ha-Ha, and everybody's like, this is the best time I've ever had in my life. And then we talked to, and there's a number of boats where they've done 8 or 9 Ha-Has on their same boat, and they just keep coming back because they really enjoy it.
Well, it's got to speak to something special that's created in 2 weeks of cruising down the coast.
Yep, absolutely.
We'll continue to come back, and yeah, thanks for taking us along. I really do appreciate it, Chuck. It was a great idea and something we've never done before. Certainly, we've seen a lot more social media and live feeds, and I mean, just being able to FaceTime in Bahia Santa Maria because of Starlink is kind of incredible.
This whole thing is incredible, but it's really nice to be able to share it with the public and the Latitude Nation, because a lot of people have had questions about what it is, and it's really hard unless you're along with it to really understand how valuable this is for your launching pad for your cruising, and how nice it is for the community of sailing.
Yeah, it's been really, really fun. Well, we've got 2 more then, right? 2 more live feeds.
2 more live feeds.
Okay, great. So we'll be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. and Friday at 11 a.m. Join in. Tomorrow we'll be in Cabo, anchored, I think. And
we might do it from the Baja Cantina right there at the head of the dock. We may do that, and we'll have the last ship store there where we sell the t-shirts and hats.
Great. It'll be an adventure either way. So anyone who's still on, please join us tomorrow. It'll be our second to last live stream for the 2024 Baja Ha-Ha. This is the Triple X edition, the 30th run. And we're all crossing our fingers for number 31 next year.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you again, Chuck. And we are going to log off of this live stream. So thanks everyone for joining us today.
See you guys tomorrow.